Okay, so what is your role here at our school?
I am the principal secretary.
But you also do a lot with, when it comes to human resources, a lot with teachers and movement and things
Yes,
like
I
that.
do I take care of the paperwork that the principal would normally do for teacher moves through the personnel system.
All right. You also are very involved in taking care of us as teachers and keeping up with what we should have, what we shouldn't have, and um, any of our professional development and that sort of thing, right?
Yes.
All right. So with that, how does technology, how's that kind of integrated in your job? What does it do to help you with your job?
I use a program, and it's just newly launched last month for the personnel information process. So if a teacher changes assignments or a new teacher is assigned to us or a teacher transfers to another campus, all that goes through this new program. And the program will actually operate like um, a personnel file. So teachers can access it, I can access it, contracts will be there, but also any change of assignment forms. Then I also use for the workshops for continuing education credits. I can create that workshop. I'm responsible for keeping up with the sign-in sheets, which are then scanned and attached to that workshop so that teachers can get proper credit for it. I'm also supposed to close that after 30 days. So anytime a teacher has not done the survey form and the system does automatic emails reminding them to do that, but sometimes I go back and make sure before I close it out that they've had every opportunity to do that.
So is that program uh, in coincidence with the new application process for teachers to come into our district for job opportunities? Okay, because that's a new program as well.
Right, no, the personnel program?
Yes.
Yes, I access that same talent ed
Yes.
program to pull those applicants into our system, yes.
Okay. Um, with that, with technology being helpful in that regard, how does it kind of hinder your day sometimes?
I'm finding the talent ed program not, or the process the district is currently using with that not as helpful to me. For instance, we had a teacher assign new assignments. So if they were teaching language arts and they're now going to be teaching social studies, I put that in. Or if a person is coming to our campus, I used to get an email notification that that process had been complete. I no longer get that. So to me, I can't view what I'm doing. Once I put in, it's called a PAN. I don't know what the PAN stands for, but I put in that form electronically. And once I hit send, I never see it again. I can't go back and modify it. I can't see who signed it. I can't see where the process is. And so I asked the question, how do I know if that person's going to show up on our campus on August 17th? And they said that person gets an email.
Well, that would be helpful if you would get that email as well.
Yes. So in this new process, I think there's going to be some adjustments. There has to be a way that I can go into their talent ed record and look and see if they're assigned to our campus. Right now, I don't have any way of knowing that.
Wow.
And I had a copy of the personnel form that I would put in their file. So when it was all said and done, I would print that out and stick it in an actual personnel file that I keep. And now, once I send it, I don't get it back. So I have to print it before I send it to put it in the file so that I know when I have what that last one is. So let's say a coach is now head basketball coach, assistant football, assistant track, but they're going to change to head track. I have to know in that personnel form what they're currently assigned to. So I have to have that in writing. I don't have anywhere electronically that I can see that. So I have to have that in a file that I can go say, okay, what they're currently doing is, and this is what they're changing to. If I'm pulling in a new person, that's okay. I mean, I do need to know if they're going to show up or not, but I don't need to access any prior information. I have not done it yet, but supposedly I can pull that from Talent Ed into our personnel system and tell them, yes, I'm choosing this candidate. and they're gonna be working for our campus. We've done the telephone interviews, I've done all of that, and it goes away.
So there's a piece that's missing, definitely.
I need the warm fuzzy piece that tells me what I've done has been complete, what I started has been completed.
Okay.
And currently, I've asked the question and I have not been told, there is no warm fuzzy for me.
Wow. Okay, so I'm looking around, there's still a lot of paper.
Yes,
And is that for personnel reasons that you, because I know that as the teacher, we sign in and sign out the signature sheets when we're doing professional development.
yes,
Is that something that the district requires of us?
yes,
There's also been a time that we have signed in with a number.
yes.
But that was like at the beginning of the school year. We haven't done that since. Is it something that the district decided not to do anymore? Or is it something that was just not as easily, or you didn't get the same success of check-in for that?
Because I have to initiate it and I don't have a tablet or a laptop,
Mm-hmm.
the laptop I have access to was too slow to use the electronic sign-in.
Okay.
So there was nowhere for me to do it.
So that would
outside
be
of an
nice if you
office.
had a portable device of some sort
That
that
was
you could,
current.
that was current, that was up to date with the current logins and running with the separate windows and that sort of thing. It would be helpful.
Yes, because that's a district app. And it works awesome during summer school. That's where I learned how to use it. And that's how we signed in students and that's how we sign in for our time when, like I did a registration on Saturday and that's how we sign in and out. Is
Okay.
through that app, this district app. But I don't have a device that's portable that I can do that with. And the laptop I have access to ran too slowly to be able to sign everyone in. So I do the hand sign-ins and then I scan them. If I use that electronic sign-in, I would still have to print it and scan it to attach it to the workshop or come up with I guess I could save that document and then attach it to the workshop.
As a PDF or
As a
something.
PDF,
Okay.
yes, I could do that. So it would eliminate all paper if there was a
Way
way.
that you could get
And it's
it.
a lot more accurate because it gives me time.
That's true. It
And
gives you
no one can
timestamp.
sign in for
No.
anyone else.
So that might be something we could even ask our principal to find that technology to help us out in that respect. So we would be more be more electronic in our signatures versus being more paper pusher. That would be helpful, and it would help you out with time as well, not
Yeah.
taking you away to go scan papers.
Yes,
All right. So that's something that technology that we need to look at that would be to improve your job to make it a little more efficient. Because you could not only use it for when we have professional development, but if we have different things that are going on before school or after school, even with students, like you said you did with summer school.
Mhm.
All right. So that's something we definitely need to look at.
because I think they use that electronic sign-in for some of the other, like Homework Haven and stuff like
Mhm.
that. You could use that same program.
Okay.
It's out there to be used by anybody in the district, and it's very accurate.
Okay.
It's really helped us out in summer school.
So the next question I have for you, and I might need to go see our bookkeeper, but are you in charge of transportation when we book transportation for the district?
No.
Okay. Because that's all electronic as well.
Yes,
Okay. So
that's
that,
totally electronic.
and that's with our bookkeeper, or is that, how does that work?
It goes through the transportation system.
So that's something that, as a teacher, I could put in, go into our district website and manually do, but I thought our principal had to approve that.
It goes through an approval process, but it's all electronic.
It's all electronic?
They cues him.
Okay. So, but that's something also we have to have budget approval before we can do that, or no?
Yeah, well, if you have access to that program, then you have access to a budget that you're gonna use. That's part of what it asks you.
Okay, so as a teacher, I couldn't do it. So it has to be somebody who would have rights, or?
Right, and
Okay.
you could if you were a teacher in charge of, let's say, the Omega program,
Okay,
or a coach in charge of
Okay.
an athletic team.
all right,
You have access and you have a budget to go with it.
all right. Because those are things that definitely, with transportation, it's off-site. So that's not something that would easily be done, because you're not here and making a phone call is not something you do anymore. It's all electronic.
It's all electronic.
So a hindrance in that would be if our system was down, either internet or intranet.
Absolutely.
you can't make any, and it has to be done in advance. How far in advance do you have to make transportation reservations?
Sherman would know the answer to that.
Okay.
But it's several weeks,
Okay.
because if it's too close, then the principal has to request it.
All right.
It won't allow the normal approval process to happen. Last week, we had a huge problem with the internet speed. And so as I put in substitutes, which is all electronic,
Oh, wow. I forgot about that too.
I was having to do it on my personal phone using my personal data because I could not access the program from the school. And I'm
Wow.
hardwired
Wow.
because it kept going down. So that has been an issue. Since we've gone to Office 365, many of the machines don't have enough memory because it runs in the background.
All the time.
So it makes our refresh screen really, really slow. And Charmin was totally shut down one day last week, the bookkeeper. And so she had to wait until the campus tech could install more memory in her computer so that it would function and she could work with the program she's supposed to work with.
Now, speaking of substitutes, I didn't even think about that. Substitutes are done in that same, they're not done in Talent Ed, they're done in something totally different. ASOP. And that is a program that teachers put in their absence, the absence that they would like to request, depending on what kind of absence it is, depending on if it needs approval or not. And then the computer, that computer system, alerts anyone that may be in our system. And but that's pros, but the cons to that are sometimes we could get substitutes that maybe aren't a good fit for our campus.
Correct. I have substitutes I like to use, and we do things a little bit differently on this campus. A lot of campuses are totally driven, as you said, where the employee puts in the absence if it's an illness. If it's a personal day, it requires approval, and generally the secretary does that. But if the teacher puts in the absence, he or she can have their own list of favorites and request it. The way we do it on this campus is generally I put in the absences so that I can place the subs in that I like to use and that I know are the best fit for the teacher. And so it does help when the internet systems are working and when the servers are all working and I can get to those programs. And that's what I was having to do on my phone. The server was down. I needed to get in there to put in a sub for a teacher that was leaving midday. I have to do that through the internet.
Because you have to be able to request it through that program.
Right.
So that's a big hindrance as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
Wow, your job requires a lot of technology.
I am usually running more than one. I'm always running more than one program, but a lot of times I have both Firefox and Google Chrome open because programs work better
In one versus
in
the
one
other.
versus the other.
I didn't even think about that too.
So I'm usually running both.
Well, I definitely see that we need to ask for you to get a mobile device, whether it be a laptop or a tablet.
Generally, the district does not give those to paras.
But I
another
think
problem that
with
we've
the-
had with the paras is that even our instructional paras aren't given tablets.
And they really need them
And they
because they're in the
really need them.
classrooms.
They're in there in the classrooms, they're trying to do what the students are doing, mirror what the students are doing. They need to mirror what the students are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so our instructional paras really could use those tablets as well. We're giving them to sixth graders. I really think that the paras are a necessary part of that.
Absolutely. Good information. We need to pass that on. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.